Morning YouTube, Rob, One Strange Journey. Today I want to do something a little different. I bought a grinder a little ways back and I've been getting a lot of use out of it. I wanted to show you how I've been making my sausage. It works out real well, and I'll tell you what, it's a lot cheaper than what you're paying inside those stores right now. Let me show you what I've been doing. Ugh. I'm gonna try to use that stuff. Okay. When you do make your own sausage at home, it's important to get the right piece of pork. You don't want anything with the word loin in it. That's just going to be too lean. The shoulders, this one right here, it says picnic roast. This is probably basically a shoulder. You want the shoulder, yeah, this is a pork shoulder. You want a shoulder. The butt is ideal. You want something with a lot of fat in it, because that's what's going to make that sausage be juicy and taste really good. This piece here, as you can see, was $21.65. And this is a 10-pounder. There is going to be a bone in it. We're not going to get the full 10 pounds out of it. We're going to get it as close as we can. Let's get her opened and see what we can do. So the basic game plan here is we're going to take this out, get as much meat off the bone as possible, and then we're going to cube it up. Trash can ready if this guy starts getting a little crazy here. Whoop, whoop. The one thing I don't like dealing with, but my dogs love, is when there's skin on it still. I'm not going to use the skin for sausage. Don't know if you're supposed to, don't know if you're allowed to. Ah! That's just what I didn't want to do. Hold on a minute. Anyways, let's bring this bad boy back up here. Cutting surface. Okay, as you can see, there's the bone right there. Need to sharpen my knife. See, this is why I don't like that skin stuff. It is so hard to cut through that stuff. I put it in the little cooker and I give it to my dogs and they enjoy it, so there is that. Somewhere in the 1-inch cube category is about ideal, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the seasoning on these cubes and then we're going to grind them up, and that helps it get all mixed in nicely. It's kind of annoying to deal with the bone. I'm sure some of you hunters out there know exactly where to cut to not have to deal with the bone. But guess what? I don't. So I'm gonna have to deal with it. Dogs will be having a nice treat later. I don't want to get rid of much of the fat though. And if you have a smaller grinder, it definitely makes it easier to, if you cube it up nice and small. Now, I got a 3/4 horsepower, 12 pound per hour, beautiful grinder, so I don't got that issue. I can do most bones. Okay, see? Skin is such a pain in the yuck, what the freak is that? Oh. I'm not a hunter, but that stuff's gross. What is that? I don't know, but you know, if you were getting sausage from a grocery store, tell you what, they wouldn't cut it out. That'd go right in your sausage. You might not want stuff like that in your sausage. I know I don't, so we get to pick and choose what's going in our sausage. And that is definitely one of the benefits doing this yourself. I watch some of these YouTube videos and they show how like Walmart makes its ground beef. Oh my gosh. They have to, it's from so many different cows. Like your little 1 pound of ground beef could literally be made up of 1,000 different cows. So when they do that, they have to put other chemicals in there and stuff just to kill off bacteria and stuff from sick cows. Tell you what, this is like probably the same material your kid's baseball mitt is made out of. It's crazy. And if you can get this without the skin, I've probably said it 5 times by now, but that is definitely the way to go. Unless you want it for you or your dogs. I don't know if this is the same stuff they make that snack in the store. I love those. But I made these last time for my dogs. It came out more like a rawhide. I need to sharpen my knives. They've gotten ridiculously dull. Stick fur. Maybe that'll be in an upcoming video. I've seen some of these other guys on YouTube and they fillet that bone right out of there. That guy ate me. The bone is in there somewhere. Oh, see, there's that freaking nasty ass vein. What is that? It's freaking gross. I don't know what that is. Hopefully that ain't like where a worm fucking lived or something. If anyone leaves that in the comments, I'll be pissed off. It's gross. I hope that's not what the deal is. But, you know, when you do this yourself, you get to see exactly where that meat's coming from. We're gonna weigh up this bone and see how much we paid for bone. You want all the fat you got, so no reason. I mean, if you don't want fat, if you got heart problems, then definitely, you know, make it how you want. But for maximum flavor, you want as much fat as possible. No, you hunters. Now, it's not like I have that many people watching, but if I have a hunter watching, he's probably like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I know. Alright, I know there's some meat left on here still, but with me and my beautiful knife skills, it becomes a safety issue at this point. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get the scale and we're gonna weigh it and see out of 10 pounds how much I got. I think it actually said like 9.5 pounds or something. 9.25 pounds is what it says. So let's see. Right about 2 pounds. So keep that in mind. It's about 20% freaking bone, and there was still some meat left on it. Maybe 1/4 pound. Anyways, all right, I'll be right back. Like I said, this is all going for the doggies. We'll get that started in a second. I'll make a nice little treat for them. We're done with all this. Here's what we got. About 7.5 pounds of sausage. Now, I'm not sponsored in any way. I bought these myself. So, just to give you a heads up, what I liked about this was it was made in Riverton, just down the way from where we live here in Wyoming. So that was pretty cool, this brand. The original Mountain Man, great, thumbs up. Their Country Maple Blend, thumbs down. I don't taste hardly anything in here. It's like you get a little bit of maple flavor, but you have to use twice the dose. See, it says seasoning for 24 pounds. I would say this is about 10 pounds of seasoning. It's like $10 to get these packs of seasoning. This one right here, this will definitely do 20 pounds. So I've already used half of it. You see, you'd have 2 packets like this. Each packet's good for about 10 pounds. There's about 7 pounds in it. So we're just going to throw the whole thing in there and it'll just be a little bit extra. Definitely, this is the one you want. Original Mountain Man. This is great. This, no hablo. It just has very little flavor. I might just add this into a sausage mix for shits and giggles. Let's go ahead and mix this up. Ooh, oh, there goes some. Just gonna do this. Just start mixing it up. Normally I have my wife sitting here kind of shaking it in while I do this. Nobody wanted to help me. Whatever. Get it in there nice and deep. Now, what I'm gonna do is cube this stuff up and then we're gonna put it in the freezer. About half hour, 45 minutes max. And we want to let the pork here get stiffened up because then it'll go through the grinder without making a big slobby mess. Smells like the desert. It's got like a sagey type smell to it. It's gonna be great. Look at that. You can see it's all mixed up nicely. I'll throw this in the freezer and we'll be back in about half an hour. We're back. So here is my grinder. She's an LEM 12 pounder. She's got 3/4 horsepower. And I bought 3 different grinders before I ended up with this guy. I'll show you a screenshot of each one. I tried 3 different grinders because the issue I had, first one seemed like people recommended it online, but it really sucked. I think I just had a broken one. It wouldn't even let the stuff come out. It just grinded and made a mess. The second one was the LEM 5 pounder, and then I found out I can't do bone. Well, had my dogs on the raw diet, so I need to be able to grind up chicken bone and all sorts of bones. So I ended up going to this guy. It seemed like the best budget one. If you needed a big one and stay on a budget, this was your best bet here. So anyways, let's get to business here. Here we go. We got the 7 pounds of pork. I'm gonna put it all up here. I got an open box special, so okay, I got it $30 cheaper because it had this dent. I got to pound it out. when you get those open box discounts on Amazon, you never know exactly what you're getting into. But anyways, you can see there, that's 7 pounds of pork fit up there just fine and easy. Another thing I liked about this one was how quiet it was compared to some of those others. They were so freaking loud, it was unbelievable. It was like starting a vacuum up right in your ear. It comes with a little plunger thing if you need to push meat down, but as you can see, you don't need to push this stuff down. It just comes right on out. Look at that, big old chunks. It's gonna suck them straight down there. Now the problem you have sometimes, you get a little bit of meat that won't come out, so you got to at least put a little bit more through to get the rest of that meat out. Make sure it's all been ground up. Now I'm going to put the whole thing through one more time. Give it a double grind. If it starts to warm up at all, you're going to have to put it back in the freezer again for a little bit of time, or else it'll turn into just a mess. I think this will go through one more time without an issue. It helps to use this plunger to push it in, because this probably could have used one more trip into the freezer to get a little bit more stiff. It grinds so much more easy when it's stiff. You want to do a double grind on this kind of stuff. It helps mix up that seasoning a little bit better. Even with hamburgers, I've learned to like the double grind. Like I said, you don't need a big fancy one like this. My issue was I needed something halfway quiet, because that other one I was out, it was so loud with the animals, I had to go outside with it. And then with these RVs so close by, it would have been me being obnoxious to do that on a regular basis. So quiet, and I needed power, because I needed to be able to grind up chicken bones for the dog's food. You know, I use chicken wings, chicken drumsticks, whole chickens. And they need that bone in their food, so. Let me show you one other little trick too I do. The trick is you're not gonna get all the meat out of there. So find some stale biscuits, whatever you got, throw them in there. And you'll see it when it changes its color. I got some old Hawaiian biscuits here I'm gonna try to use up. That way, it has a double function. It helps clean out this. See how it's starting to turn colors right about there. See that stuff? You see the difference? So we know we got every bit of that pork up out of there. We'll save this, dogs will like it. Now, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cover it up, and I'm gonna let it sit for 24 hours in the fridge. But in the meantime, I'm gonna make one patty out of it to make sure it's seasoned up good enough, and I haven't had lunch, I'm hungry. So we'll come back and I'll show it tomorrow, and I'll show you how to make links out of it. Nice and easy, very, very simple and fast. All right, okay. So we are back. It's the next day. I've had the sausage in the freezer for about a half hour or so to recool it down. I left it in the fridge all night, so I just wanted to recool it down to make it a little more firm. We got to make these sausages. Let's go ahead and put this puppy together. I'm going to use this plate today. The auger in first. The blade in second. Facing out like that. I got 3 different sizes. This is the size that I am going to use. Now, normally I have someone help me with this, because the pain in the... You kind of need one person to fill it, the other person to catch them. But I am running solo because my people are assholes. I'm going to use this, and this will be the first time I've done it by myself, so it'll be an experiment. We'll both find out if it works or not. It's going to be a mess. Let's just go with it. So Like I said, I've done it by myself before. Everyone is too busy to help me, that's okay. I'm gonna kind of, I guess, just kind of feed it out here. As you see, we're not putting the skins on the sausage like some people do. These are just going to be roughed out ones. And they turn out just fine. I've already done them before. Okay, we'll set that one aside. Okay. You know, I've seen them. You can go watch some YouTube videos when they put them in the skins. 10 times the drama, and it still requires 2 people to do it. As you can see here, you get a little system down. You can do this with 1 person. And like I did yesterday, I'm going to throw a couple pieces of bread down through. Get every morsel of this stuff up, because you can see there's sausage all the way through the end here. We need to get that bread all the way up through there. Whoa! Yeah, we're starting. See that? Just now starting to get to it. I'll push one more through, so I'll make this up for the doggies maybe. Call that good. You can see the bread in it now. See that? See the bread in it now, so we know we're all the way through. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. I think for this much sausage, what did I spend? I think right around $20, so not bad at all. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the freezer for a little bit, and then I'm gonna dice it up kind of in normal lengths, but I wanna let it freeze a little harder first. So that way it's a little more manageable. Then I'll put it in bags. I don't want to cook it all up right now because then they dry out. I want to cook them, keep them raw and frozen in a bag so I can cook them the day that I want to use them. I'll cook a couple samples up and show you what they look like. I'll be right back. Show you what the end product looks like in a sec. I've had these in the freezer for a little while. I'm going to cut these up into my sizes that I'm going to want. Just guesstimations. And I'm just going to freeze them up just like this so I can pull out what I want, and that way they'll be nice and fresh. Because I've tried this before, if you cook them all up ahead of time, they just dry out. Freeze these fellas down. If under normal conditions, I'd put less in a bag, but I'm out of bags, so I still have the other half to do. Here's my testers. What do you think? Nice little. Just like the restaurant. Perfect. I appreciate you watching. If you got any value out of this, think you might give it a try sometime. The nice thing about it, like I said in the beginning, is you get to pick and choose exactly what goes into your sausage. Not just anything the butcher is throwing in there, or God knows what Walmart's throwing in there, you know what I mean? If you give me a like, I would appreciate that. Maybe even a subscribe. We're an RV life family. My wife's a travel nurse, and I got a 15-year-old daughter. She got a license now. Oh, geez, you've probably seen that in that episode. If you'd like to subscribe, follow us around. Right now, we're currently in Graybull, Wyoming. Appreciate you watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. So, here's how I'm going to package these guys up. Got them out of the freezer, let them freeze pretty solid. You can see here, I kind of just use my little knife thing, cut them up. Put it in my little freezer bag here. I'll show you how that's going to look. I don't want it crushing them together. Just want to seal it. There you go, ready for the freezer. Take out what you want, reseal the bag, and good to go. So that's how I seal mine up.